Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So, Tarek, you wouldn't believe it, but he is back, ladies and gentlemen. Alejandro is back trying to sell Super Sega FPGA to another unsuspecting person. The Ron Jeremy of FPGA Gaming, the Salvador Dali of Scans, the hardest working man in FPGA, is back with one more video. And I haven't talked about Alejandro or Super Sega FPGA in some months now, but I will have a comprehensive start to finish video coming out shortly. But honestly, I did not expect him just to pop up randomly. He's been doing nothing but posting music videos on the official Super Sega FPGA channel, but it seems like Alejandro wants you to listen to him one more time because, of course, much like a cockroach, he runs to the shadows and then pops back out into the spotlight just when you think you're rid of him. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined to want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. And I will put a link to this entire video down below because honestly, it is absolutely one of the most chaotic things I've ever seen. He is stopped in the middle of a highway in Barcelona with traffic rushing by him in between the actual highway and the off-ramp, just lighting a cigarette on his motorcycle. I do not like the guy. He definitely is trying to take advantage of people, but holy crap, I hope he doesn't get hit by a car one day. That is a very dumb thing to do, but honestly, it's really not that surprising. And the entire premise of this video, disappointing to me, is that he goes into a retro gaming convention in Barcelona and offers to allow somebody to sell the Super Sega FPGA, air quotes, you can't see me making them, prototype, to the highest bidder. And interestingly enough, there's some pieces missing from the Super Sega FPGA, air quotes again, prototype, that aren't surprising whatsoever. But damn it, Uncle Alejandro, I told you I'd give you $1,000 if you just ship this thing to me. I'd pay the minute it arrived, and that offer is still valid, but you gotta put the chip back on. Because last time we talked about this thing months and months ago, big thanks to Ian Lee for helping as well, he got Alejandro to take the heatsink off the Super Sega FPGA board to show what was underneath it, and even though we never got a close enough look to actually be able to tell what type of chip was on there, it was apparent from day one that that PCB was nothing more than wishes, dreams, paperweights, and gaff tape stuck together in something that would be completely non-functional. And you'll see there is some sort of chip on the board with that substrate and the die, but you honestly can't really match it to anything whatsoever, so we're always confused what chip was on there. We just didn't think it was an FPGA chip. And what did Uncle Don Ron Alejandro do? He walked up to an unsuspecting gentleman at a table, who I'm sure has absolutely nothing to do with this whatsoever, so do not take that impression from the video, and offered to allow him to sell the Super Sega FPGA. He goes through the box, and you're going to notice one very glaring omission when it actually comes to what is on offer here, but you are going to get a good look up close at the actual case, which looks like it was spray painted with a rattle can while drunk with one eye closed, standing on one leg, hopping around on a Tuesday, which is to say it is some pretty bad paintwork. You can see the ripples, the bubbling, the issues in the print, even some smudges where it looks like somebody just touched the paint when it was wet. But there's a very conspicuous omission here on the board. Whatever chip, that BGA body right there that was on the board, has been removed. And why do you think that is? Because if anyone actually got their hands on it, I'm sure it's probably just some sort of cheap Southbridge or other chip that they just kept the camera away far enough from so you'd never realize it was just some cheap board pull recycle job going on. Very big limited run games energy there. But I love the fact that Alejandro just randomly wanders up to somebody and decides that he's going to try to sell the Super Sega FPGA, air quotes again, prototype to somebody, whoever will pay the most money. If I was there, I would have dropped that $1,000 and taken it apart on camera for all of you. And if for some strange and unlikely reason you were at this retro gaming convention and you purchased this Super Sega box with the contents inside of it and you don't want to keep it anymore, my offer extends to you as well. If you have proof you have it, and if you'll ship it first when it arrives, as expected, I will send you $1,000 via whatever means you would like it to arrive from. I don't expect anyone to have actually purchased this thing, but it is a genuine offer because my goal in life now is to get Uncle Alejandro's Super Sega FPGA in front of my camera just so I can see if it smells like shrimp and potatoes. All jokes aside, I'm going to let you listen to a little bit of the conversation here because it is chaotic, and apparently that he thinks this thing should be in a video game museum in Madrid. If there's a museum of scams, I think it would have a place. Otherwise, I can't imagine a collection taking it in. But go ahead and listen and read the subtitles. I did use auto translate on YouTube, and I'll be right back.
Amigo, amigos y amigas, mira, de gente mirándola, hostias.
I mean, if that is not the weirdest thing you've ever seen, I don't know what you would classify as weird, because Alejandro's basically stocking his own prototype at a table somewhere, seeing if anybody's actually interested in purchasing it and for what price. And I assume he's going to pipe that whole amount that he could have made into cigarettes, shrimp, and potatoes, because it seems like that, along with beer, the only things that he thinks about. And he even gets caught by the staff, pointed to, and he waves, basically seeming like he's doing some sort of spy camera from about 50 feet away. It is absolutely insane. It's absolutely quintessential Alejandro, and it is absolutely hilarious in equal measure. He's just trying to dump this thing off on anybody, and that probably means he's short on cash and just kind of looking to make a couple bucks out there. And honestly, I expected to hear something from Alejandro, but he has been quiet for a while, even though he keeps talking about the Super Sega Lite, and it's nothing that's had any evidence shown it isn't real, so I really haven't talked about it whatsoever. And it's one of those things I probably won't talk about it at all in the future, only funny things like this. And earlier in the video, he goes through again, showing off the box and what's inside of it, and there really isn't any reason for that chip to be pulled from the board other than the fact that you wouldn't want somebody to know what is there. It's not because he was trying to save the chip for a different project, it's not because it was expensive, it's because it was probably just some off-the-shelf component that clearly wasn't an FPGA chip in the first place, and if he actually showed it to anybody up close, that secret would get out very quickly. And I love the other prototype here is just in a random bin, completely fallen apart, still with a heatsink on top of it, with the holes that he drilled through the PCB because that heatsink wouldn't fit. It is just absolutely insane, and it keeps on giving. I'm kind of glad that Alejandro honestly took a couple months off talking about this thing, because even I was getting bored talking about it, and I'm only again going to make videos when they seem to be funny, because Uncle Ron Jeremy here is still out there, he's still trying to hawk something, and now he's showing up at trade shows uninvited and unannounced on his motorcycle just to try to sell some one-off thing to somebody to make a couple extra bucks, which means that basically he realizes that everyone out there knows that Super Sega FPGA is not real. Between my videos, between Ian Lee's videos, between DJ Slope, everyone's got the word out there, including websites, that this person is just not selling anything that would be real in any way, shape, or form. But that doesn't mean he's not going to keep trying, and that doesn't mean it isn't funny. And again, even if this prototype is absolutely nothing more than a doorstop, it is worth something just to have in a collection. It is something that I would absolutely love to get a hold of, not just for the videos, but to say I actually own a piece of Super Sega air quotes history. And if you watch the whole video, it gets even more chaotic. He records this entire conversation with the gas station attendant when he's gassing up his motorcycle, just holding his phone randomly here. It's like he doesn't know how to turn it off. He wants everything documented and recorded for posterity, and that's definitely something he does get from my channel, other channels as well, because at the end of the day, Uncle Ron here just loves being talked about. He loves the limelight, he loves the attention, he loves everything about just being a public persona. I do think he even may have accidentally showed some of his card numbers there, but I did cut some of it out. But honestly, Ron Jeremy Alejandro isn't the sharpest knife in the drawer. Some days he really does feel like a fork in a drawer full of knives, if you know what I mean. And it's just the reality that this is the gift that keeps on giving, the year-round Super Sega still exists in some way, shape, or form. And I've talked to other channels that have been contacted by Alejandro. He wants people to interview him to talk about the new Super Sega Mini project, which apparently is just going to be Super Sega without Dreamcast, and absolutely nobody has taken them up on that offer whatsoever, and nobody ever will, because we all know by this point in time nothing good is to come of this outside of humor. And as far as the refunds are concerned and the chargebacks, I basically do know that the people that I was in contact with who had purchased this and hadn't seen money are no longer in contact with me. They're not answering their messages, so I have no idea what happened there, but I can't imagine it was a very positive thing. But honestly, the dancing fool himself is still trying to hawk this to whoever will listen to him, but the problem is he's running out of people that will listen, and for somebody who clearly loves the attention so much as Alejandro, he's really going to be heartbroken when no one will give him any attention other than negative types on YouTube, but even that might be enough for him. And if you were at that retro gaming convention in Barcelona and you saw the unit, leave me a comment down below, because you're probably the first person in the world to ever see what Alejandro has been making outside of him and his family members that he passes off as reviewers in some of the videos. It's been a sob story here and there. It's been an absolutely wild ride, but there is one last chapter in the Super Sega FPGA saga as of today, and that is the fact that Alejandro was at a trade show in Barcelona trying to get somebody to sell the Super Sega FPGA board without the chip on it to somebody who would offer the most amount of money, which means he probably just needed that shrimp and potato money again. But Uncle Alejandro is still out there. He's still entertaining us, and the next time he does something equally as bad as what you just saw in this video, I'll talk about it. Short of that, we're done. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.